Hi, welcome to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and we are joined today with Kendi, Carmen, and Mary.
Hello.
And I'm Patty. And we have a big show today on CRT, critical race theory. That is, we could do a whole week on it, but we're going to squeeze a lot into this one show. But before we get started, I want to tell you that we have Go for Launch coming to Bismarck and Fargo. You are not going to want to miss it. Michelle Lucas is the founder and president of the program. She's going to be our guest on Monday, but I wanted to tell you about it today because once you hear about it, people are going to sign up. There's not going to be any room, and so go right now to their website, higherorbits.org. higherorbits.org. Go take a look. There's actual astronauts that are in with the kids. They have a workshop for 3 days. It's an amazing program. I'm going to tell you more about it on Monday. But go to the website so it doesn't fill up before you get a chance.
So Patty, is it like a space camp? Is that space camp for kids is what it is?
Space camp. They're going to actually do experiments. They're going to come up with experiments. Bismarck's going to compete against Fargo.
Wow.
And then whichever experiment is chosen is going to actually be done in space.
Oh, that's so cool.
Incredible. Really cool.
That's awesome.
I want to sign up for it, but I guess I'm too old. Because it's from grades 8 to 12. So
that's awesome.
We missed it,
Wow.
but maybe don't let your kids miss out on this. It's going to be exciting. So speaking of exciting, I have a really exciting guest that's going to join us today, John Spiropoulos. And he's a producer, writer. He's worked in big cities like New York, Washington, Detroit, and he is doing an ongoing series on critical race theory. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you for having me. This is quite exciting. Yeah.
I forgot to add, you are a 3-time Emmy winner.
Yeah, they're collecting dust on the shelf now, but yeah, that and $3.50 will get you coffee at Starbucks right now.
Awesome.
Hey, I got you on the show.
There you go.
That's something.
There you go. Critical race theory. It is the most devastating thing to hit schools in a generation. This is quite unbelievable, and the parents that I talk to, they might be aware of critical race theory, but it's at the 30,000 foot level. They have no idea what's going on in the classroom, and I'm talking to parents all around the country of all colors who will just tell you, this is not good for white kids. This is not good for minority kids. This is not good for anybody. The teachers tell me it just divides the classes. It's unbelievable. And what I want to try to focus on, because I'm really a practical kind of guy. I don't get deep into philosophies. What's showing up in the classroom? What do parents need to know about? And that's been my focus in talking to people. I was on the phone this morning. I did a Zoom interview with a mother down in Florida who's heading up. She's the co-chair of Moms for Liberty, which is one of these parent groups that is fighting CRT around the country. A Black mother, 2 daughters, 12 and 14. And this stuff ends up in her school. And she says, not on my watch.
Wow.
John, what I love about you, we were talking on the phone yesterday while I was walking my dog. And I love how you keep helping anybody who calls you. That not only are you doing this, is it a 13-part series?
It's probably going to be 24 to 30 reports. And it's a kind of a two-phase thing. The first thing is we're doing public awareness. This is like a news report. And we're going to be interviewing people. We are interviewing people. I've already done 6 reports that are about over 40 minutes worth of material. But we're going to be repackaging them into parent training programs that we will put on the internet. They're free for anybody to look at. They're free for every parent group to use, to recruit parents into their groups nationwide, to educate the parents nationwide, to take it to the school board and say, what are you doing here? We don't want this book in the school. We don't want that book in the school. And because it's all about parent awareness. The citizens of the country, the parents have to take back the school board. The school board is supposed to be the representative with the Department of Education. And they're not. They're in the pockets of big money. The education lobby on this is unbelievable. And citizens around the country, they're going to have to, well, you've seen some of the screaming at school boards. Their parent, worst thing to do is to make mothers mad. And that they've done plenty of.
Yeah, they have. John, thank you so much for being on the show. I would love it if you could tell our viewers what CRT stands for. And then I'm curious to know, what was it about this that really got you to want to be involved in this and to spread the message and to be so active in fighting against it?
Critical race theory looks at everything through race. The explanation is the United States was founded on racism, and that it continues to be a rigged system against minorities. The minorities that I talk to reject that, but these people want to divide. This is not really a theory. This is warmed over Marxism. Instead of class warfare, we've decided to make it race warfare. And so they literally, this mother in Florida told me that at her school, they were going to they were going to divide the kids by race in one of those big college seminars that they were going to have, where they had in the auditorium where they have everybody. They were going to divide them by race, and they found out about it, and they put a stop to it because it had happened before. What are you doing? When Martin Luther King and so many other people died and fought and for a vision of America where his children would be judged on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And you have now a race philosophy in CRT that completely rejects it. If the people who are perpetuating this, let's pretend let's not pretend you believe in Martin Luther King. Scratch that from the holidays if you think that's what's really, because he doesn't believe in any of that. Martin Luther King didn't believe in that. And the idea that everything here is about race is just awful, and it's child abuse. I've had parents have said that to me. They've said it in school board meetings. This is nothing short of child abuse. To have a first grader, I talked to a Black father. You may have seen his TikTok video went viral. It was he and his daughter, who's 6 years old, in the first grade. And he comes home one day and says, his daughter tells him, "Daddy, why weren't the white kids allowed to play with the black kids?" And he goes, "What? Where did you hear that?" In school, our teacher told us all about white and black water fountains. And he went to the principal the next day and he said, someday I'm going to sit down with my daughter and explain racial bigotry. I'm going to explain racism. I'm going to explain segregation. But I'm going to be doing the explanation, and it isn't going to be you. And it certainly isn't going to be now when she's in first grade. And so the principal agreed. And he said, that was a substitute teacher. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've heard this story before. Oh, it's a substitute teacher that did it. This is pervasive in the school system. They've brainwashed the teachers, who are now brainwashing the children.
And John, can I just ask, we don't have much time and maybe we can come back to this, but when Common Core was becoming the big thing in this nation in our schools, I was doing research on it, and they made mention of how it would usher in more racism into our schools. Are you seeing that that's kind of where the foundation of this started, or is it just more recent than when Common Core was put in place?
And John, I want you to hold that thought because we do have to take a break.
Okay.
And so that'll give you just a minute to think about your answer when we come back with Ladies of Another View on Back.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your number one choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
If you don't know what's going on in education in this country, then you don't know what's going to happen in the future of this country. And it's important. I'm Dr. Duke.
And I'm Katie.
Watch the Dr. Duke Show weekdays at 4 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having Lee Stack and Sid and Marty Croft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are joined here with John Spiropoulos. He's a 3-time Emmy Award winner, lots of 50 years or more experience in writing and producing news stories and documentaries, and we are talking about critical race theory in the schools. And right before we left for the break, Carmen was wondering, do you know where this all started? Like, where did this come from?
I don't know. All I know is I discovered that it was in the schools because I started covering this mask business and the closing of the schools and the child abuse that's gone on, especially here in California, where they didn't open the schools until a month ago. And so then I started hearing about critical race theory, and I didn't know it was called critical race theory when I originally thought of doing this a year and a half ago. But then I was planning on doing it then, but then COVID came along. I'm sorry, I don't call it COVID. It's the China virus. It's the China virus came along and messed up the plans for 2020. But it's in the schools. But like I said, lots of parents don't know what that really means. And when I explain it to my neighbors, they said, what? And then I explained another element of this, which is the sexualization of the curriculum, where the kids are being assigned readings that, you say, what? This is X-rated stuff? That's a whole nother story, but it's part of this radical curriculum that's being pushed on kids in the schools. By the way, the passion of this, I'm a grandfather. So, you mentioned 50 years, that gives away my age. I just turned 73. And the passion about this is that, you know what? I love this country, and I love the people who love this country. And when I was on the ellipse on January 6th, along with thousands of other grandparents, they were all there for their grandchildren. And lots of parents too, but a lot of grandparents from around the country who could take the time to drive to Washington and express their First Amendment rights and the right to assembly. So that's my passion. And, the guy I'm named after died in World War II on a battlefield in Eastern France. I never forget that. He was my dad's best friend. And so, I get a lump in my throat when I hear the national anthem, when I see the flag, and I'm just appalled that you have people walking around this country now who are triggered. Remember that person at the New York Times who said she was triggered by seeing the American flag? Can't have that. If you're triggered by the American flag, leave the country.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
thank you for that,
There you
John.
go. John, when you made this first documentary, and there's going to be others, within 48 hours, there were 53,000 people that had viewed it. Now, I was going to play it during our first segment, and we ran out of time. And I'm sitting here going back and forth. And you know what? If we've got it, if the producers, if it's okay, I would like to play it because it's really a good mixture from parents to see how angry they are and why they are angry.
You guys may be woke, but I am wide awake. And the thousands of other parents in this county who are clued into the Marxist agenda that is being pushed by this school system will never put our heads in the sand again. We are coming for your jobs. We are coming to change this curriculum.
We have made it clear for Loudoun County Public School Board to ban CRT and its likeness, and to not recruit our children as activists, anti-Americans, and Antifas. I will not sacrifice my children or others to the unlawful teaching or systematic programming of minors. It's reckless for the school board to think they know what's best for our children. You all know teaching CRT is a violation of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. As promised before, we parents are taking a stand for our children, and we're going to get to the bottom of this.
For the past 6 years, I've been a tutor for numerous public school kids all over Northern Virginia. Currently, the majority of my students are homeschoolers whose families have decided to leave the public schools. Yes, thank you, all my business is booming, because families are waking up to the reality that you're committing nothing short of child abuse.
Students, you are on the front lines of these indoctrination camps. Challenge the staff when you're presented with a ludicrous statement, and do not allow anybody to tell you that you cannot accomplish anything because of your skin color or to hate yourself because of your skin color. Students, it is up to you to be the next generation of victims or victors.
I want you to all know in no uncertain terms that I will do everything I possibly can to fight to the bitter end until you prove to me that you are not teaching my children that they are racist just because they're white. Am I against teaching my children about racism or equality? I'm not. Am I against teaching my children that equity is the answer and they, as white children, are the problem? Absolutely.
Right? And how we treat people is based on who they are and not what color they are.
And if they're nice and smart.
See, this is how children think right here. Critical race theory wants to end that. Not with my children. It's not gonna happen. My baby's gonna know that no matter what she wants to be in life, all she has to do is work hard, and she can become that.
Work hard, even though you don't know anyone. You can make friends.
Yeah, you can make friends, no matter what color they are. So we need to stop CRT. Period. Point blank. Children do not see skin color, man. They love everybody. If they're good people, they love them.
We pray for people that are hurt.
Them pushing this into our schools on our children, it's an attack on our children, right? And if you're attacking our children, you're attacking our future.
So instead of critical race theory, it might say restorative justice, social emotional learning, diversity, equity, inclusion, 1619 Project, cultural inclusivity, anything with social justice. They are teaching critical race theory.
Wow, that was excellent.
Thank you for making it, John. John, it was so hard to pull out little pieces because every second of that video that you made is powerful. And I will post it on our Facebook page. Ladies of Another View. Thank you for making it.
That little girl was something else, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
You know, I found them. They live in California. They're about an hour and a half away from me. And I met him at a park, and we did an interview. And I got to tell you, the reason I met him at a park was lots of parents who talk to me. They don't want anybody to know they're involved, and they certainly don't want anybody to know, although they're going to be seen on TV. But they don't want anybody to know where they live. I mean, one of the ladies out here in California, she's been doxxed on Twitter. People have called. They put her address online. They've called her office to try to get her fired. It's ugly, ugly.
Do you know, John, have you run into cases where, I know in my own personal situation, I'm a grandma and I have biracial grandkids from two different races. And are there parents that are really coming to the fore on that piece? Because what it's doing to biracial children, you can imagine the confusion
Yeah, this is
well,
why
I'm half white, but I'm half black, or I'm half native, or I'm half Muslim, or, or whatever.
Is
there any studies or anything?
It's a great question, because I have my grandchildren. They're half Greek heritage or half Hispanic heritage. Well, is one half oppressed and the other half not? I have interviewed a woman the other day who has about a list of 10 ethnicities, from Congolese to French Indonesian. And I said to her, well, when you get together, which half of the family is oppressing which half? And she laughed. She said, we play games like that all the time.
Wow. Wow.
John, the time has gone by so fast because there is so much to say. Thank you for coming on.
And if you don't mind, if I can tell people to go to www.letsrollamerica.us, and they can, there's 6 videos up. There are going to be lots more. www.letsrollamerica.us.
Right, look at the bottom of your screen. If you're a
there
visual
you go.
learner.
Thank you so much.
Let's Roll America.
Thank you, John, so much.
Thanks,
John.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And we're going to be in touch too. And coming up next, we have Elizabeth Schultz, and she is a senior fellow at Parents Defending Education. So we're going to keep talking about this coming up after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore? Do you think Governor Burgum truly understands the legislative process?
I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp, weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer has been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are moving right along here, still talking about critical race theory and feeling like we're barely scratching the surface. There's so much to talk about. And I heard Elizabeth Schultz on the radio yesterday, and she's going to be on our show right now. Welcome, Elizabeth Schultz.
Well, thank you for the invitation. How exciting to join you, Ladies of Another View.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for coming on such short notice. And Elizabeth is a senior fellow for Parents Defending Education. And you have served as an official in the U.S. Department of Education and also twice elected to the Fairfax County School Board, which is very important. And you are seeing the ugliness of CRT and you're doing something about it. Tell us what's going on.
Well, it was a very sad day actually for me to be in Loudoun the other night, the school board meeting that erupted in pandemonium, not because of the parents, but because of the conduct of the school board. Everything that's portrayed in the media seems to put the burden on the shoulders of the parents for misbehaving. And I can tell you as a firsthand, I was in the center seat in the second aisle, and I have never witnessed utter disdain for the public shown by officials. And I've seen a lot. I mean, we've all seen a lot, but the degree to which there was indifference to disparate views, so much so that the board chair wore the color of, quote unquote, the opposing side, or rather the side that supported the board. You know, that people were wearing specific colors. The admonishment of children, of parents like children. This is the shame that's going on as they work so hard to embed ideology in our schools and ignore parents and parental rights.
Wow, that's so disturbing. You know, I've stood in front of the school board here in Bismarck several times, and I've been surprised actually, you know, as you're trying to vocalize your concerns as a parent. I mean, even here in a very conservative community, many of the school board members, they would not really listen to the concerns of the parents. They had an agenda, and that's all they cared about. I mean, is that what you're seeing there? I mean, is it just this agenda that's being pushed forward, and who cares what the parents are saying?
That's such a familiar tone. And see, it doesn't matter if it's in Loudoun or Fairfax, Virginia, in New York, the dad from Illinois who spoke so passionately, the Black father, about, you know, achieving 2 medical degrees, and nobody put him down. This is what parents are finding out as they pay attention to these school board meetings. They're hearing things that are just so dissonant. It's jarring that nothing reflects the values of the individual parents, kind of the community as a whole, and that there truly is an agenda. You have school board members, 90,000 in the United States, over 90,000. That's the largest body of elected officials in the country. And they're informed wholly by one side intellectually. There's a thought that rifles through, and it goes along with consultants that are hired and paid. This is a big moneymaker. You got to understand that critical race theory and its implementation, and it doesn't matter the words that are used, how it's phrased, if it's cultural competency, if it is intersectionality, if it is responsive teaching, all of these things are designed to deeply embed a philosophy and an agenda that is based in Marxism. It came out of Germany in the 1930s. It infected our higher education institutions, particularly in the 80s and 90s. And it is certainly, somebody has seized this moment to fund and distribute these materials in such a way that they said, this is our moment. We're going to really radicalize education. And this is the one benefit. You know, you have to look for the blessings where they come. And maybe things are, you know, in God's time and not in ours. But this is the blessing of the pandemic and the lockdown, is that truly parents have had their eyes opened to course materials, to literature selections, to lectures, to YouTube videos shown at the beginning of classes that embed all of this. It's word choices, it's the banning of words, it's compelled speech. And it's not just for students, it's for teachers as well. There are many, many educators who are deeply opposed to this. And look, do they risk their careers? This is where they are, is if they speak up, you're going to be like Tanner Cross and Loudon, and you're going to be fighting for your job and for providing for your family. If you speak your values, this is where we are. And it is really time that not only parents, but taxpayers, because remember, if your children are not in public school, there are 51.5 million children in K-12 public education in this country. But if your children have graduated, if you don't have children yet, if your children are homeschooled or go to private school, the reality is that your money goes to school, whether you have children in school or not. And that is going to have the outsized effect on our culture and on our nation, not just our children. So there's a lot at stake.
It's the coincidence of the whole thing, which I don't believe in coincidence, but the medical community is going through the same thing. The doctors who don't dare speak up, the doctors that are being told you will prescribe this, you won't prescribe that, all the things with COVID that we've been hearing about for the last year, and now the teachers are in the same position. And the centers of power, I think, are just becoming more and more real to people that never paid attention before, how little power has been left to the local level and how much of it is centralized now. Is that what you're kind of feeling too?
Well, actually, the thing that most people don't realize is the degree of power that their local school board has. They may or may not have taxing authority. The tax and funding may just be moved over from another body, another local governmental body. But then once that money lands, the decision on curriculum, the decision on teacher professional development, the intent of any strategic view of the school district, what is it that's going to be their mission, and how do they affect that mission, is almost completely at the local level. And that's why these school board races are so critical. People often think, well, I can't run for school board. Well, the folks that are already in the school board somehow made it on. So I think that common sense parents of every ilk who see a school board gone wild, not reflecting the student-focused, academic excellence-based viewpoints, if you aren't seeing that, then you or someone close that needs to run, because if you don't take back that school board, you're never going to see a change. And I think we're in for an education revolution, to be perfectly honest. And it does start in every neighborhood, in every town, in every community across the country, because all of this puts our children in peril. We don't want our children to be taught hate. We don't want our children to be taught to look at each other based on the color of their skin. And we certainly don't want them to say that they are in a minoritized or oppressed category, or they're an oppressor. And that's really what is being taught to our children, is a very Marxist forced ideology that reduces the value of the family and the parent and elevates the role of government.
Right.
People like you, Elizabeth, are helping parents across the country, because so often you just feel like you're one voice, and even together, as parents are joining together, and school boards are laughing them off. And you've written several pieces that I took a look at, and we've been called right-wing conspiratorialist theorists, and none of this is happening. And people are coming forward and saying, no, this is happening, and we do need to do something about it. And it really does feel like a cultural war, because the parents are upset, some of the teachers are upset, and they either need to be quiet or speak out at their own peril. But it's amazing what's happening, and we can't. You're going to talk, when we come back after these messages, you're going to tell us what we can do besides just speaking out. We have to go further too. So we'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
In 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve. Through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Hop in the rig and go down the road with me. We'll cover local and national stories that impact you. What happens with national debt? Does anybody even care anymore? Do you think Governor Burgum truly understands the legislative process?
You know, I think he's got a better understanding now than he did 2 years ago.
Why in the world are we having a conversation about being anti-vaccination? Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp weekdays at 5:30 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck, and we are joined with Elizabeth Schultz, who's a senior fellow with Parents Defending Education. If you go, we have it at the bottom of the screen here. If you go to defendinged.org, you can learn more because we are just barely scratching the surface here. So thank you for being on today with us, Elizabeth. And I just want to show a brief clip of a 9-year-old girl who sees the politics of all this and goes before the school board. Very impressive. Let's watch.
The other day I was walking down the hallway at Lakeview Elementary School to give a teacher a retiring gift. I looked up onto the wall and saw a BLM poster and an Amanda Gorman poster. In case you don't know who that chick is, she's some girl who did a poem at Biden's so-called inauguration. I was so mad. I was told 2 weeks ago at this very meeting spot, no politics in school. I believed what you said at this meeting. So at lunch, I went up to my principal to tell him about the BLM poster and that I wanted it down. He said it's not coming down. I was like, yeah, it is, because the school board said on May 25th, no BLM or politics in school. He said, that's weird. They were the ones who made them. I was stunned. When I was here 2 weeks ago, you told us to report any BLM in our schools. Apparently, you know they're in our schools because you made the signs.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Isn't that crazy? They say this is the rule. They make the signs that break the rules, and then they tell this 9-year-old girl, oh, it's not coming down.
Rules for thee and not for me.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Right. The educated elite versus the rest of us.
I just think it's amazing that what's happening in our schools is crystal clear to a 9-year-old.
Yes.
So this is my wake-up call to parents. The 9-year-olds know what they're seeing. It's plainly evident. I mean, she is certainly a pistol, but you know, if it's happening there for a 9-year-old to see on full display, please understand that we have to pull the curtain back for the rest of us because this is a call to action.
Yeah.
On the rest of that video, there was a male student who said, how do you think I feel on the first day of school, when the principal is talking about we need equality, and he talks about every minority and what we need to empower these students. And he says, but I'm white and I'm not mentioned. I'm the problem. How do you think that feels on my first day of school?
So race shaming is a terrible outcropping of this critical race theory. It doesn't elevate students of any race to say that you can achieve based on your individual work or promote the fact that they should do well in school. What it says is that one side is causing the problems for the other side. It diminishes Latino students, it diminishes Black students, it diminishes white students, it diminishes everybody because it seeks to divide based on looking at the race of a person and gets our children looking through that lens instead of understanding that they have the ability to achieve individually. And it's a very deep, dark, rotten way to bring our children up. And as you can see on full display, a 9-year-old knows it. So the rest of us better catch up.
Totally. You know, as we talk about this, I know a lot of us could feel like that sense of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. Yet we've been discussing this the entire show today. We've had a man who's in his 70s and he's doing a lot of work. We hear this 9-year-old girl who is like raising awareness and being a voice. I feel hope because there are so many people that are waking up to what's really happening. And I would love for you to share with the viewers and with us, what can we do? What are the things that we can do within our communities that are going to make a difference, that are going to tell the school boards, stop, we are not allowing this anymore. So what can be done?
So G.K. Chesterton says a great line that all great civilizations decay by forgetting obvious things. You know, and the obvious things are that things like a local school board race matters, that we have differentiated instruction for children and allow them to achieve their full potential. These are very obvious things, but we've just sort of had a malaise about education. We thought that our children are okay because we were instilling values in our own home. We were instructing them and raising them to be good citizens. But the rot and the decay of the foundation has been revealed by the pandemic. So I encourage people to go to defendinged.org. We have created a host of resources. Not everybody can be a candidate for school board, but everybody can do something. Everybody has a role in it, whether it's writing an open letter to your school board members. We have instructions for that. Speaking at your school board meeting, the importance of attending a school board meeting in person. All of this, we've created instructional resources to help facilitate parents and taxpayers across the country that they must become involved. You know, children are the jewels in our crown. And if our children aren't worth fighting hard enough for, then the other side is willing to fight to destroy them, then our civilization is lost. So we really do have a culture war, a war for the soul of our nation on the front lines. But most of all, it's fighting for those children and fighting for those grandchildren, that they not be indoctrinated, that we not allow a Marxist ideology, a communist march to begin in our schools in the youngest grades, that we tell children that you are an oppressor or oppressed. We have to root out this concept and these ideas and the wasteful spending that is not serving the needs and propelling students to have the highest academic potential possible, regardless of where they come from, regardless of the color of their skin. That's what we need to get back to. So I do encourage parents, go to defendinged.org, report. We have a great map there of reporting instances across the country. But most of all, we're seeking to inspire that hope that you spoke about, that we can move our children forward in a good education, but it starts by taking back those school boards and saying, you're not going to teach racism and hate to our children. Your focus is teaching them academics and strengthening that, and let the rest of that stay with us. I heard a Loudon mother say the other night, you know, that side may be woke, but I am awake and I am not going to sleep again. So this is the call out to parents. You can do something. You can make the change.
So when I was a parent of kids still in school, I remember there were times that I would go to the principal or the superintendent. I didn't think of going before the school board. Are you saying the school board is your starting point, or that's your final destination, or is there a route parents should take?
Well, I remind everybody about the organization chart, which school boards have inverted or perverted. The superintendent is not in charge of the school board. The people are at the top of this organization chart. We're in charge. You put those school board members in charge, and the superintendent is merely an employee of the school board. And so really the direction of a school system, while operationally is run by that superintendent, all of the ideology, all of the curriculum, all of the choices and strategic thinking, if you are addressing intersectionality and renaming schools and having, holidays renamed on your school calendar, where in any of that is the talk about what's the academic achievement of our students? What are the life skills they're acquiring? How are they work ready? How are we preparing them to be good citizens and contributors in society to be happy and fulfilled adults? We're not doing that. School boards are not talking about that. And it is critical that you drive the conversation in your own community, that school board get off the wrong path. They've gone off-roading in a Prius and they're stuck off-road. We need them to get back on the highway that is about educating our children in the basics and what we need.
That's
so,
awesome.
Elizabeth, we only have about 30 seconds left. Maybe we can take an extra minute for this segment to answer this question.
Go for it.
So this didn't happen overnight and it's not going to end overnight. So in the interim, what are we going to do? A lot of people can't pull all their kids out and homeschool, which would be perfect because then there's no federal money going to the schools and money talks. That'll make it hurt. But what can parents do in the meantime until we get to the bottom of it?
Certainly, I think it begins with watching the school board. You've got to understand what your local school board's doing in person. You can file a Freedom of Information Act request. We give instructions on that to find out where are the consultants being hired, what kind of curriculum is being put in place. You really have to press on the pulse of your local school system to figure out what do the assignments look like, what literature choices are being selected, what videos and movies are being shown. So you start local, and I think that makes it easier for folks because the big picture, the federal Department of Education or your state board of education is too big. Start local first and figure out who is on that school board, what they believe, when your races are, and get a cadre of parents together and say, you know what, we're going to just take our school board back. We're going to have common sense people who have a sensibility about them and stewardship of taxpayer dollars and education as their focus, and get them on that school board. They're the most local races that take the least amount of dollars and the least amount of votes to win, but they have the most influence on our children's lives and on the culture and the future of our nation.
Wow. And go to defendinged.org. Easy to remember, easy to do, defendinged.org, because we need to keep in touch and know what's going on. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us today.
All right, God bless you.
We'll be right back with the lighter side after these messages with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go. We deliver for you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Hey Bucks fans, if you're planning an outing, birthday, or employee appreciation night, then bring your group out to the Buck Stop for a night of fast-paced, high-scoring football. Your group will receive discounted tickets, options for reserved seating, scoreboard messages, VIP services, swag, and a space to gather during the game. You can also participate in pre-game ceremonies, halftime entertainment, in-game contests, and more. Call 701-595-0771 or visit bismarckbucks.com/tickets. All GA is first come, first serve. We'll see you on the turf. Go Bucks!
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity.
How can these people not see that they're just clowns?
We help simplify and educate you on things going on in the legislature and around the country.
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
But also having flea stack and Sid and Marty Krofft stuff, and we've talked about that sometimes. It's bad.
Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck.
What a show today. I
Oh
tell you
my
what,
gosh,
we are just
so
fired up.
good.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I am just really grateful that Elizabeth brought out that I actually want to bring to the attention of local residents here in Bismarck is that our superintendent in Bismarck, he controls the school board. Superintendent Hornbacher, he makes the decisions. And she brought that forward today, that the school board is in control and he is an employee. And so parents, grandparents, everyone, wake up, raise your voice, and get control of the school board. Like, they are influencing our children, and it needs to be a good influence. We do not need to fill them with this indoctrination that is going to destroy America. So I'm making the plea, please do something. We need more voices that are raising concern to the school board.
And stay connected, because the people that we had on today, they're the leaders and they're helping us to know, giving us a voice, helping us to know what's happening across the country as parents speak out, the things to look for. And here is, this is for the lighter side. We have a real theme for this show today.
Yeah.
J.P. Sears talks about critical race theory. He's the king of satire, and this just goes to show, when you can say exactly what they're saying and it's a laughable joke, that tells you what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, class. Today we're going to learn about critical race theory. Now, you don't have to like critical race theory, but if you don't, it's because you're a racist. And if you do like critical race theory, it's because you're a racist and you know you need it. Now let's take a look at the vital points of critical race theory. Point number 1, critical race theory says the most important thing about you is your skin color. That's what defines you as a person. Point number 2, critical race theory says that if you're white, you're racist, whether it's conscious or subconscious. Point number 3, critical race theory says if you're a minority, you're a victim of a system that's rigged against you. Point number 4, critical race theory says racism is present in all interactions. And I really can't stress this enough to all you young racists. In other words, critical race theory is a movement that seeks to bring about racial unity by creating more racial division.
Did you guys notice the pictures behind his
Yes,
head?
I did.
And his big eyes, like.
Yep.
That was good.
Yeah, I'll post that too. What I hate is this toxic racism that is being stirred up in this country. Is, you know, some of the people like the Obamas come out of their Martha Vineyard's estate in their
And
mansion.
they're oppressed. You don't
And
hear-
they're
Yeah.
oppressed. And Oprah Winfrey is
Is
oppressed.
oppressed. Yeah.
And Meghan Markle is
Is
oppressed.
oppressed.
Yes. Give me a break.
AOC is oppressed. I mean, come on.
I'm feeling oppressed. I wasn't before, but now I am.
Oh, goodness.
Well,
Yeah.
and when we were on the break, I know, you know, the other day I got kind of fired up and I was talking about stop idolizing victimhood, because that's 9/10 of the problem in our society right now. I think that if you're not a victim, you're just not cool. And you know what? What is critical race theory teaching except that very thing? Everyone is a victim. And what does victimhood lead to? Look at the societal ills that we're living in. Pick your poison. It's all right there. And it's never my fault. It's everybody else's fault. It's everybody else's fault. I'm making the bad decisions I'm making because they're not bad decisions, because I don't have any other power. I just am just blown by the wind or whatever. It's like, no, stop. Just stop. Don't let them do that to you, because it's going to take you down roads that you never, ever, ever even knew existed, and you don't want to be there.
You
But
know,
that's what this teaches.
I had that same conversation earlier with a friend and about the homeless people. And she had felt sorry for the homeless. And it's like, and I get that. However, I said, years ago, that person didn't listen to their parents, didn't follow their rules. You know, they probably came from a good home. So many of the people, you know, there's issues that they've kind of made their problem themselves, and now they're the victim, and now we have to clean up the mess. Where if people would just, you know, it's so easy, just follow the rules, you know, go to school, just, I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
follow the rules, except when they're saying critical race theory is something that has
Yeah.
to be taught in the schools. I mean,
no,
we have to raise our
saying
voice.
I'm saying the kind, you know, not the 10 Commandments, just the golden rule. Just be kind to others. Just be nice. Live a good life, and you're not going to be homeless. That's my point.
You know what? Some people are victims, and we say we want to help them to stop being victims.
Right.
We don't want to convince everybody they're a victim. We're supposed to do the opposite.
Exactly.
But
Sooner or later,
guess
it's
what?
rage.
We've
It's
run out of
rage.
time.
We ran out of time.
We've run out of time. High on emotion, low on time. But join us again next time. And coming up next is Down the Road with Joel Heitkamp, and he might give you another take on some opinions like this. But anyways, join us again with Ladies of Another View on Beck.